Well, ANC veteran Mathews Phosa says President Cyril Ramaphosa should have sacked embattled Police Minister on special leave, that's Senzo Mchunu, as soon as these serious allegations against him were made. He says this would have sent a clear message of a zero-tolerance approach to wrongdoing. Phosa joins me in studio tonight. Mr. Phosa, good evening to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening, and thank you for inviting me.
Well, it's good that you're here on a day like this because the Madlanga Commission has now cross-examined Mr. Mokgotsi and they basically tore him to shreds. Does that make your position even stronger that the President, Ramaphosa, should have long sacked Minister Senzo Mchunu?
You should have long fired him without hesitation. Mokgotsi is not the subject matter for my entertainment. He should be charged with perjury. He lied under oath. He lied in front of the nation. I don't take what he said seriously. I'm a trained intelligence officer. He doesn't speak like one. Talks too much, verbiage, diarrhea and rubbish. Doesn't even know what he's talking about. So he should be charged with perjury because he spoke under oath. Yes, that's very serious. And other people are going to testify there, must bring the truth. The allegations made against the Minister of Police by Lieutenant Mkhwanazi were very serious allegations. So serious that the President had to establish a commission of inquiry and he had to suspend the minister. I'm saying suspending is not the way. Fire him and send a clear message that we don't want nonsense in the police force.
Well, he chose to establish a commission of inquiry, and I suppose, as President Ramaphosa has constantly been referred to, he's a process man. So, knowing what we know now, what would you say to President Ramaphosa given an opportunity? Because the longer he stays in the position, remember, taxpayers continue to pay for his upkeep as a minister, even though he has not been in a job now for at least a couple of weeks. The longer he stays, how big is the damage?
Well, not the damage. I'm going to say to the President, cut off the umbilical cord now. Fire him. What else do you still want? No one has disputed the evidence of Lieutenant General Mkhwanazi so far. And in the face of that, every reason to fire Minister of Police.
Mr. Phosa, the Minister of Police has not had the opportunity to go to the Madlanga inquiry, but he has already been to the ad hoc committee, which is a similar process to what is happening at the Madlanga. There, he again, almost insisting that he only knows Brown Mokgotsi as a comrade, but this is not someone that he would, at least the manner in which he communicated this is not someone that frequently communicated with Mokgotsi. The evidence of the commission points to a completely different story. And today, it actually points to a very interesting timeline to the date of 31 December when he ultimately decides that he's going to write a letter and say, immediately disband the PKTT. What do you make of those revelations from the commission? This is not Brown Mokgotsi saying this.
What I'm saying, I'm not going to change my story. The minister has got a lot to answer, but he must first resign or be fired, and later we can answer those things. They should not speculate that now.
In fairness to Minister Mchunu, what we know now is that the ANC has been offered by himself the opportunity to say, allow me to step aside. And the ANC has said no. What do you think they should do now?
The ANC was wrong. The minister was right. And he should be allowed to step aside. This whole thing of protecting one another must come to an end. That's what's damaging the image of the ANC.
And the point here, Dr. Phosa, is that Minister Mchunu talking to people or even associating with people that you yourself say you have very little respect for, what kind of image does that paint to the South African society? This is a cabinet minister, not just anyone that the minister is communicating with and possibly sharing very, very important and classified information with? I'm saying that under caution, because until such time that we have confirmation that he may have been the one that actually even given Brown Mokhotsi the letter of 31 December. That's not been proven yet, but just the mere communication with these individuals. What kind of picture does that paint of a government minister?
It's a government minister who collaborates and colludes with criminals. That's what it is. And where we are now, I can tell you, we don't have to wait for the Madlanga to finish. It's enough. The people have lost confidence in the law enforcement, in the police force, in many other state institutions because of this type of behavior. Why don't we just behave clean and move on?
Final question to you. In fact, it's a second last question I'm going to ask you. The image of the ANC.
Yes.
It's what veterans like yourself have long been concerned about.
Yes.
That we now have a crisis of credibility, as your spokesperson once told me on this show. How deeper does that go tonight?
Look at the last elections. We tumbled from 70 to 40, and the indications now say we're going to 26. That's how deep the lack of confidence is by the voters of South Africa. They're passing judgment against the ANC. They're voting with their feet, showing that they don't trust us. So we need to restore, not with nice-sounding words of renewal, but with practical actions.
Dr. Phosa, final question to you, and it's got to be around what we are headed towards this weekend, and it is the first summit of the G20 held on African soil, and it happens to be South Africa. There is, though, this story around the United States. The president communicating not so long ago that it seems that they've had a change of heart from boycotting the summit. What do you make of this about turn, if indeed it is an about turn?
Well, America has made wrong assumptions about us. For example, they say there's genocide in this country. We must welcome their change of heart. We must come here and realize there's no genocide. We're not killing one another or killing some other race all the time. So we welcome the change of heart. They must come. We don't eat human beings. They must come here. We're not animals. They must come to South Africa and humble themselves. And we must embrace them. We must be bigger than America.
When you say they must come and humble themselves, that administration has shown anything but being humble. What if their intention is to come here and further embarrass this government in front of other governments of the world?
We must embarrass them too. They are full of black people who moved from Africa as slaves. And no one is pointing out those histories which were so painful for black people of this continent. We are going to be told by people who are so racist that we're committing genocide, which we are not committing. We must punch back.
Dr. Mathews Phosa, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed.
Thank you.
All right.